Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. And I rise to make a contribution on the Economy and Infrastructure Committee's inquiry into the impact of road safety behaviours on vulnerable road users. The final report of this, Deputy Speaker, was tabled in May earlier this year, following 6 public hearings and over 300 submissions. And as a member of the committee, we did hear some very disturbing evidence pointing to a deterioration of safety right across Victorian roads and in terms of safety standards following the COVID-19 pandemic. And much of the evidence we heard did suggest that Victorian drivers' behaviour worsened during and after the pandemic in terms of increased aggression, impatience, risk-taking, inattention, and most concerningly, I think from many of us on the committee's perspective, was the amount of rule-breaking that we saw post-pandemic. The report makes a number of high-priority recommendations, and I wanted to highlight several of these and their importance to the safety of the community in the electorate of Kew today. Deputy Speaker, Recommendation 6 calls on the government to review the flexibility of speed zoning guidelines with the aim to reduce speeds around schools and activity centres. Deputy Speaker, hundreds of local residents have petitioned the Minister for Roads, who I'm pleased is here at the table today, to reduce the speed limit at the North Balwyn Village shops, which is currently 60 kilometres an hour and is a busy commercial hub, as well as close to several local primary schools and a large Greek Orthodox parish that sees many, particularly elderly residents, trying to access that strip of road and crossing that road. And we've had local traders, local police, the council, schools, all joining the campaign to reduce the speed limit to make North Balwyn Village safer. And I'm pleased to say that the Minister has engaged on this issue and recently wrote to advise that in August, so at the moment, the government is looking at reducing speed limits and is particularly looking at the North Balwyn shops to see whether that can be reduced to a 40-kilometre speed zone. And I really do urge the Minister to consider the voices of the local community, of the local traders who are doing it tough at the moment and are looking at how they can ensure that foot traffic remains active and that the local shoppers and traders and school students are safe when they do attend the North Balwyn Village. So I urge the Minister to put in place measures to reduce that speed zone to 40 kilometres an hour as soon as possible. Deputy Speaker, Recommendation 27 calls on the government to review the location of pedestrian crossings to ensure links to public transport stops, activity centres and schools are safe for people to travel across those roads and they can access those important public transport and commercial activity centres. I've written to the Minister on behalf of local families to ask for the installation of pedestrian crossing on Barkers Road in Kew. The stretch of road, Deputy Speaker, you may know it, is between Auburn Road and Glenferrie Road, of which there are a number of schools, kindergartens and cafes, of which we have seen hundreds and hundreds of people cross that strip of road every day without a single pedestrian crossing between those major intersections. And we've put out a petition that has received over 1,000 signatures of the local community calling on the Minister to put in place a pedestrian crossing.
Order. The member for Wendouree on a
I've been
point of
listening
order.
very carefully and I had a lovely tour of the member for Kew's electorate, but I'm wondering what it's got to do with the committee report.
Point of order is?
I wonder the relevance to the committee report.
The member was speaking on road safety, which is in regard to the committee report. There is no point of order.
I thank the member for Wendouree for her interruption, but the people of Kew are calling on the Minister to install a pedestrian crossing. Now, it's not a big ask when we have schools, kindergartens and cafes on that strip of road looking to be able to cross more safely to ensure that they can get to school, they can cross and get to the local cafe in a safe and timely way. And unfortunately, we've actually seen very recently a near miss at that strip of road where we saw a car crash into the local cafe and just very closely miss a young mum with her pram and 2 children. So this is very important that the Minister takes into account the views of the local community. We install this pedestrian crossing and, most importantly, implement the very important recommendations of this committee report in the electorate of Kew and right across Victoria.